A stroke of delirium. Yo, what's up? It's someone that's no one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report was sent in by Zachery M, where he took 400 milligrams of diphenhydramine, and here's the full report details. Alright, so another diphenhydramine trip report. Another first time trying, or first time tripping rather. And what can I say here that hasn't already been said? We have over 30 diphenhydramine trip reports now, and this report here I feel showcases what a common response may be when someone tries to trip off of this. Zach sums it up well, that it's really confusing and weird overall, and can be extremely uncomfortable and unhealthy. He gets some hallucinations, but overall the feeling of delirium doesn't give way to anything recreational. You'll just see what's up. I'm sure you'll enjoy this, so without further ado, let's dive right into this. What's up guys, I thought I'd share an experience I had a little while ago. This will probably be a quick one since I don't remember much due to the fact that I lay down most of the time with my eyes closed waiting for it to end. I mean, what else would you expect from good old DPH? Smiley face. So I guess I've become seasoned when it comes to my adventure as a psychonaut. I've had quite a few mushroom trips, a 1CP LSD trip, a 25I M-bomb trip. Everyone I asked said it was real LSD. Of course I should have trusted my gut since I live in a shitty town. A lot of experience with MDMA used to be my favorite next to weed, but LSD just might take its spot within the next few trips. Did coke only to be extremely underwhelmed each time. Did DXM a couple times, which was great both times. Used to be borderline alcoholic, but drink much less now. And of course I'm a big fan of marijuana, a very useful drug as a tool, and just great for kicking back and relaxing, making it my favorite. But one drug I hadn't really tried was DPH, or for those of you who don't know, its brand name is commonly found as Benadryl. I used it before at very low doses for sleep or just slight music enhancement. I get really immersed in the music, very solid music enhancement. Being a psychonaut who's interested in exploring drugs, their uses, and how I could potentially use them as tools for certain things like art, music, and whatever else I can use them for, I decided I'd try DPH. But why DPH? What good could it even do, if it even can do any good? Well, the answer to that is, there's nothing good that comes out of a DPH trip. It's a delirium providing very, very unpleasant effects. I cannot stress that enough. I only tried it because I was curious and wanted to see how weird and uncomfortable it really is. I needed to feel it myself to get an idea. And wow guys, all those trip reports are definitely not bullshit. But no matter how bad it sounds, it's somewhere near as bad as how it actually feels. I do not recommend this to anyone, unless you're crazy enough to try. Since I got some crazy in me, of course I decided to try 400 milligrams to get somewhat delirious. In hindsight, I actually regret it. I probably should have went full-blown delirium. At least I'd be so far gone that I wouldn't even realize how unpleasant it was due to the awful confusion you suffer on heavy DPH doses. Alright, so this was a weekday. I had no plans, nothing to do, so I decided to try 400 milligrams of DPH. I knew what to expect, but didn't at the same time. You think you know what delirium is until you experienced it. And let me tell you my friends, I have never ever in my life had an experience so weird and so useless. So after taking the 16 tiny pink pills, all those dreaded pink pills, I decided to go outside and smoke a little to calm my nerves and get more comfortable. I smoked a few puffs and felt at ease. Once the come up really began, I felt light, bouncy, and actually had some good euphoria going. I was giggling, talking shit, and having fun. I then thought to myself, man, if I feel this good, I wonder what playing the bass would be like right now. So I picked up my bass guitar, sat down on my bed, and started playing. I felt connected to my bass, and actually felt every note I played. That was pretty cool. The music was flowing, and it was quite nice. I finished up playing and was about to put the bass away, but then that motherfucker by the name of Dread snuck up on me as I was standing up to put my bass away, and yanked all those good feelings straight out of my body. I felt like I weighed at least a few tons as I got up, and had the most unpleasant feeling. It's so hard to describe, but the best way to describe it is physically feeling dread all over your body. It's the worst feeling I have ever felt. Nothing's even close. I'd rather bust up my ankle again. At least that only hurt when I moved it too quick or put weight on it. But DPH though? Oh, DPH isn't like that. I had the constant uneasy dreadful feeling overpowering me, and I started panicking. Objects were shaking violently. My closet door looked like it was about to burst open at any moment, as if something was about to come in and fucking annihilate me. Yet I was mesmerized by the staticky breathing wall. It was flowing like it would during a classic psychedelic come-up. That took my mind off the rest until I started hearing ringing in my right ear. This persisted throughout the whole trip, but I got used to it. That ringing would then become conversations, very muffled ones at that, and it was hard to pick out even just a word the voices were saying. This is also when I started thinking any hole in the wall was actually a spider, due to the hole sprouting twitchy legs and moving. Yep, I told myself, the delirium is definitely kicking in. At that point, I weighed at least 10 fucking tons. I'm not even exaggerating. It took all the strength in the world to simply move my arm to try and reach for my phone. Of course, by the time I grabbed my phone, I asked myself why I even wanted it in the first place, only to put it aside and repeat the process. I then jumped out of my skin as I swore I heard bees and mosquitoes flying past my head, only to realize that I'm inside during winter. There are no bees nor mosquitoes during winter in Quebec. That's when I noticed the whole room looked funky. It looked like my room, but it didn't at the same time. Everything looked off, and every object was still violently shaking, as if they were to explode, or something was to burst out of the object and jump onto my face. Get it together, I thought to myself. So I decided to stare at one spot on my wall. That spot on my wall was not covered by anything, nor did it have a TV in the way. I thought it'd be perfect since I actually wasn't full-on hallucinating spiders. I only thought holes in the walls were spiders. And besides, I was mostly only experiencing audio hallucinations while I was staring at the wall. But it almost felt like the wall was staring back at me. Its stare was contagious, almost as if it were trying to let me know shit was about to get weird. Oh, did it ever get weird. As I kept staring at the wall, I noticed this cartoony man looking at me. He was a 2D man, had blonde hair, an ice hockey helmet on, and all the other hockey gear. After looking hard and focusing, I noticed it was actually Wayne Gretzky. He looked at me, smiled and winked, only to turn around and skate away, exposing the classic number 99, assuring me that it was indeed Gretzky. It was such a weird hallucination, and totally came out of left field. It was just so unexpected. I wasn't scared, just weirded out and confused. I saw multiple wacky characters, and those characters began morphing into screens. I saw lines of code, my Reddit homepage, dark mode for the win, my Insta feed full of models instead of a bunch of mix of memes and models, and just a bunch of random weird websites. Don't know if they existed or not, but I doubt it. They were just straight up fucking weird. Inexplicable, the content was. After that, I was so confused as to what was going on that I lay down for the remainder of the trip, waiting for everything to stop. The restless leg syndrome kicked in at full force. I started feeling it in my left arm. I seriously think it's the worst aspect of DPH. It feels like you need to stretch so bad to the point of feeling like it's a life or death decision whether you choose to stretch or not. Yet every time I try to stretch, I end up having a spasm, twitching, and not having the feeling relieved. It sucked. My girlfriend decided to put on some music to help me make it through the rest of the trip easier, and it definitely helped distract me. Every song sounded so raw and completely different. It wasn't pure bliss like at the beginning, but it was still interesting to say the least. A quick shout out to my girlfriend Emmy. She was an absolutely amazing trip sitter. She kept making sure everything was alright and made me feel safe and secure in her hands. If I was getting too panicky, she was able to distract me and even help me with bathroom breaks and water. I was not even close to being capable of going to the bathroom on my own, nor grabbing my water bottle. So if y'all can show her some love by giving this post a fuck ton of upvotes, that would be great. She took great care of me during a trip that could have easily went south. I strongly recommend a trip sitter if you try DPH. I don't even want likes for doing this shit, but she deserves them for putting up with it. So after a few hours of listening to music with my eyes closed, I opened up my eyes. Some objects were still twitching, but only slightly. I also realized I could actually move. The relief I felt was out of this world, and better than any drug I've tried. I was so happy to be out of that state, and I thought to myself, fuck DPH. My girlfriend was also happy, as I was now able to communicate. Which I guess I forgot about that. Let's just say whenever I would talk, I mumbled breathy uncertain sentences. Not much would come out, and it took tremendous focus and concentration. It also felt like the words kept tripping over my tongue and falling into a puddle of meaningless shit being spewed out of my mouth. So yeah guys, that was my run-in with DPH. The only words I could describe DPH would be, wait, what? And weird. I feel like those words pretty much sum up any DPH experience, including mine. It was a complete mindfuck due to the immense confusion and how random it was. So yeah, I don't recommend touching this shit, as since the trip, even if I take a tiny dose, like 1 to 4 pills, I get fucking restless legs. Those goddamn restless legs. So go smoke some weed instead, or go pop a tab. I don't know, try whatever else. Anything else other than DPH. DPH isn't worth frying your brain for, due to it literally only being a weird and confusing experience, an extremely terrible one at that. Fuck DPH.